a blue and red
Yes.
cable. That's your lifeline, correct?
Yes, sir.
Nice. So you reset that and you're good to go. Boing.
Yep, absolutely.
Dead gum. So it goes immediately to idle when you start it up.
Yeah,
right?
so that's the thing. You got to hold on tight when you start this thing. That's part of the class, or the safety when we first get you on there. You got to hold on tight and get ready. As soon as you plug in the cord, it's going to go. So you got to be ready to hold on.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Really? No way.
A board's jumped out of a few people's hands, so you got to hold on.
There's no like.
No,
there's no idle speed.
Yeah, it's pretty much go. Yeah, it's a race board, so they're all about the speed of it.
So as soon as you plug it in, you're going 5 miles an hour?
I don't know about 5, but you're definitely going, from
two.
stopped in the water to
it's going, right?
Absolutely.
Going. Because this thing is meant to hold is there a weight barrier for this
guy?
What's the weight?
There is a weight limit on it. They had to put one on there, and it's 220. But there are guys, even pros, that are heavier than that are riding.
Right.
240, I would say, is right there. There's guys doing it that are experienced. You just have to really stay on the throttle to keep the board going.
Afloat.
Yeah,
going.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But they had to put a number on it, 220. But I think that 225, 230 is safe.
Sure.
Interesting.
Okay. Interesting. So is there a low weight limit on this thing?
No, actually, the lighter the better. It just comes down to you can't ride it if you're under 13. But honestly,
so the 230 guy is going to go 25 miles an hour.
It's not going to affect your speed, so much. I don't think it's just that
just to keep
it's easier to get up. That like a girl that weighs 90 pounds is going to be able to get up easier than a guy that weighs 235.
Sure.
So.
Sure. So it's trying to create a plane, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Isn't that what you're trying to create the plane and glide across?
It wants to level out. I mean, it's great for jumping out of the water and carving, but whenever you're just trying to go fast, it's going to level out.
So
and
even
plane.
if you're heavy, if you know how to keep your balance and really get into your core, you can skim the water and make some.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. This thing is impressive, dude.
Yeah,
this is really impressive, man.
It has been nothing but fun since I got started. When I'm on the water, it just impresses me more and more each time. So we've been getting such a great reaction. Just the whole excitement, like John was saying, with the sports side, and just that,
So how do you start it? Do you start out like just hold? You ever knee boarded where you hold the thing?
Right.
Is it kind of the same where you kind of hold it and you let it get your deal and you jump up, or?
So you can start from 1 foot in a low water area like a beach entry,
right.
But that's a little bit difficult at first. That's not going to be
that's
something
skill right
that
because you got to control that
right.
drop on the back.
But if you don't have a point like that or somewhere like that, you're going to drop off of a dock or something, and it's going to be a little bit deeper. So you basically are going to start the board and get on your stomach, and then you start riding around on your stomach, and that's how we teach
like
people.
Surfing.
Yeah,
and then you pop up.
You do a little bodyboarding. You get used to the throttle and the power of it, and then you go to your knees, and then from one knee you put one foot in, and then you just stand up. But you definitely start on your stomach.
Oh, cool, man. Cool. Yeah, okay. Just like surfing.
You start,
Then
absolutely.
you pop up and
that's the same theory.
So if you can pop up on a surfboard, you can pop up on one of these, you think? Or?
I would say that surfers are going to have an easier time with it.
Right. How about skateboarders? Skateboarders going to have an easier time with it?
Well, I come from that skateboarding background, and
you fell into it pretty quick.
Yeah, really quickly. So I think that anybody that's done board sports, if you've wakeboarded, if you've surfed, if you've skateboarded, I think that
you
you're
said you've
do
also
well.
snowboarded, right?
I have done some snowboarding.
That's an edge sport. That is very different. Well, it's kind of different from surfing, but
you can catch your edge on the water too, though. But yeah, I would say it's kind of like snowboarding. Definitely.
Right, because you're on that plane, right?
It's a little different since with surfing and snowboarding, nothing's powering you. You're just going down. So
the mountain or the slope,
right?
Is powering
Exactly.
You do have control by movement, but not in the palm of
exactly.
your hand.
So since you have the
here.
throttle here, it is a little bit different. And some guys have said, you pretty much know if you're regular or goofy footed. But some guys are saying that it's more about the hand dominance. Which hand you put the throttle in. And so that's most people are going to be goofy or regular, but some people are able to switch because they like the throttle in a certain hand, and it'll switch their footing.
You know what's funny is, yes, I am goofy-footed on a skateboard, goofy-footed on surfboarding.
Let's be real, man. You're just goofy.
But when I went to the snowboard, when I snowboarded, I only did it one time. But my buddy Carl that I was telling you about before, he was a professional skateboarder. gave me like this beautiful primer about the edges and how the
Right.
edges and everything worked. And when I went, dude, I just fell in love with it. And I found that it didn't bother me which direction I was facing because I understood where that edge was.
Right.
And I didn't have to stop and power myself like you would on a skateboard. You know, I think that's what made my dominant leg the way it was. Just the
Right.
power in my leg. You know, my left seems to be able to.
Yeah, some guys, they definitely stay with how their footing is, but some guys are switching and kind of seeing which one's easier for them on this particular product.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about the whole competitive side of things. There's actually a Motor Surf World Cup, and actually they've got an event coming up in July in Shanghai. So we're going to talk about that, and then also some plans for some competitive jet surf action on Clear Lake.
Woo! Absolutely.
All right. That is right. We're back with the Galactic Coast Power Hour, and we're talking motorized surfboards.
With Jordan Davlin.
The owner of JetSurf Houston.
Wow. What a machine you have placed behind us. Now, you have teased us, but haven't given us any other information about a competitive sport using this most powerful machine that's back here. Tell us a little more about the competitive side of going 40 miles an hour in the water on a personal craft.
Absolutely. So Martin Sula, the founder of the company, he comes from a racing background. He started building engines for Formula One race cars and motorcycles back in the 90s, in 1994. So he's stretched across continents when it comes to racing motors and things like that. He took that knowledge and he put it into this board, and so immediately people picked it up on the whole racing side. So just the whole performance end of it, they wanted to race these things, they wanted them to go faster, they wanted to compete. So it didn't take very long for someone to get involved in that. So that's when they came out with the Moto Surf World Cup, and they decided to have an organization that was in charge of all that. And that particular organization is the FIDSM. And it stands for the International Federation of Motorized Surfboards, and it's out of Switzerland. So they're the ones that are in charge of all this, and they do it with the Moto Surf World Cup. But yeah, they travel across different continents, different countries. Like I said, it's big international, so guys race from all over the world. A lot of guys out of the Czech Republic because that's where this thing started. So those are a lot of the pro racers and stuff, but there's definitely pros all over. They just did a race down in Mexico last year, and there was a couple guys here from Texas that raced. And so it's really neat just that people are picking up the sport side of it and, yeah.
So what would be the proper nomenclature to describe someone riding a personal watercraft such as this?
You mean like a pro?
If I was cruising, what would you call me? A motorized surf rider? A
Competitive jet surfer, maybe?
I would say just competitive jet boarder, or a jet surf
jet
pro.
boarder, jet surfer.
Yeah, it's motorized surfboard or a jet board is what they're calling it. So in the industry, the Moto Surf World Cup, they refer to it as a jet board race, but jet surf is just the dominating board in the industry.
I like that. Jet
everybody that races for the Moto Surf World Cup races on a jet surf board at the moment.
Yeah, because it looked like from some of the research I was doing, we're talking like 86-90% market share. I mean, JetSurf's definitely like the dominant brand in the whole motorized surfboard space.
Absolutely. They were the first ones. They created it, and they continue to innovate it. So they are just dominating the market.
So what happens? Someone comes down there, they rent one of these things, they get the bug, and they just go hog wild, and they start racing because it's 6 or 7 years old, and you've already got people jonesing. Now, I've ridden a mountain, I've ridden surf, and I've ridden the street, and it is infectious, and I can see how.
It's very addicting, and I think you nailed it. They come out, they ride a few times, they start getting good at it, they really enjoy it, their friends, enjoy it, they start riding together. Before you know it, they want to buy a board, and once you buy your own board, you can really start dialing in your technique and getting on the water more. And at that point, a lot of these guys just want to start racing. They because it's such a new sport. You can still kind of get into the industry, without, it's not dominated by pros that you can't compete with. You know what I mean? Like, There's still room for growth in the race inside. So guys that have only been doing this for a year or two are already competing internationally.
Traveling the world competing.
Absolutely.
And we were looking at the schedule during the break. They just had a Motor Surf World Cup event in the UK. The next one's in Shanghai, China. Then they've got one in South Korea, and then they've got one coming up in Florida.
Yeah, so I'm super excited about the one in Naples. They did one last year for the first time, and it was a huge hit. They had a great turnout down there. Florida is the first place that had these boards in the U.S. The CEO in the U.S. importer is out of Miami, and so he's been pushing the boards there for the last year and a half or so. And they had a great turnout. They're really excited for this year. I'm going to try to get out there. I won't be competing, but I just want to go check out the event, and meet some of those guys that have come from all over the world to race.
And from what I could tell online, it looks like it's quite a party too, right? I mean,
absolutely. Picture NASCAR in a way, where when you race, they pop the champagne, and they've got some girls there.
There's
and,
a lot of mental and physical effort that goes on that deserves a party, and there's
absolutely
there is festered.
They celebrate like it's a real race,
There's still energy left. Yeah.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah, especially with the spoils of war. So
these guys, they've got the endurance though. They ride so much.
Excellent.
So I'm checking out your machine over here, and so we have was that almost a 2-gallon, almost 3-gallon tank?
No, it's actually less than a gallon tank. So
for gas.
Yes, yeah. You put the mix in there, pre-mixed. You can mix it yourself, but
right.
Yeah, you just put it in with any type of gas tank. It's very simple, or you can take it out. It's very simple to remove the gas tank. Another big thing about these is you can travel with them. So you remove the gas tank.
This looks totally travelable.
There's a bag that comes with it, and you can literally put it on a plane. American Airlines, $150 under the plane. You can take it anywhere in the world.
Wow.
You put it in a bag. You carry it on your back. Like I said, you take the gas tank out and clean it out. To make the airport security and everybody happy, which is completely legal.
Wow.
And you're able to
fill it when you go to your
absolutely,
destination,
and
right?
so you can travel with them. So the gas tank is removable for that reason.
Wow, dude. So okay, you can rent these at your shop that opens in about a week, right? You
Absolutely.
can rent these and go out. So what is the optimal time for someone who's never ridden this for their core strength to be able to adapt to something like this?
Okay, yeah, so you're definitely going to want to eat before you come out. It's one of those things that, you want to eat some food before you come. It's definitely an extreme water sport, so it's not... it's a fast activity. It'll take the energy out of you. Super fun, but not super easy your first time.
Sure.
The optimal time to ride is in the morning when it's smoother water.
Well,
now I love riding in any type of condition because I like to hit the chop or the waves.
Hit the chop.
Yeah, but when you're a new rider and you're trying to learn how to get up on the board, it helps when you don't have the waves kind of moving you around. And once you get up, you can go into some bigger water, but it's better on the smoother water when you're first getting started.
So how long can someone be on it the first time they're on it?
Yeah, so we're going to do 30-minute and hour-long rentals, and we'll have even stuff longer than that. But the average person's going to do a 30-minute or an hour-long lesson or initial rental. And the 30-minute sessions are going to go for $79.99, and the hour-long session will be $149.99. Yeah, so they just come out, they pay that. We give them a quick class, we take them out on the water, we train them, we give them a certification, that they've been trained on how to ride, And,
are there different levels of certification? Or
no, yeah, it's just that that they've been that I went through the safety brief with them and trained them on the board,
Sure.
Yeah, and so how long can they be on it? So it's we're going to do the 30-minute or the hour-long rentals, but it'll last longer than an hour. On the dyno full throttle, the gas tank will last 40 minutes. The pros can burn up a gas tank in 50 minutes or so. I usually can make it last an hour or longer. Any new rider or novice beginner, they're going to be tired or they're going to come back with gas still in their fuel tank.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking a newbie rider maybe lasts 20, 25 minutes on something like this.
They could be out there for 2 hours and still have some gas.
You've got to build up your strength on this.
Absolutely.
This is something new, right?
Yeah, and as you get more comfortable, you'll start to use the throttle more, and you'll be, instead of going fast sometimes, you'll be going fast all the time, and that burns up the gas a lot more. Plus, you're on the board constantly. When you're in the beginning, you fall off a few times. When you're falling off, the board's not running. So every time they're not on the board, they're not burning fuel.
Right.
When I'm out there, I tend to not fall off unless I'm doing a jump or something. So I it doesn't last as long.
You got to get risky if you're out there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
I would. I'm gonna try to jump something.
That's the funnest
probably
part.
Within 10 minutes of me wobbling around, I'll try and jump something, even though I probably don't.
And that's what guys are doing. I tell them start on your stomach, and they just want to straight stand up, and then they're like, "Oh, that's hard, actually." And I'm like, "Yep," but you're right. You want to start hitting the jumps right into it.
Yeah. That's
Now we talked about the Motor Surf World Cup, but you're actually thinking about bringing at least some kind of inter competition to the Clear Lake area. Eventually, right? Kind of get a team started, or
yeah,
some kind of, something like the Wednesday
cool.
night sailboat races. Some kind of maybe at least